the realm.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for a holy shit, what did I just watch video. Well, the third episode is now over and I'm still trying to collect all my thoughts. I honestly don't even know where to begin. I will need to watch that episode again before I make my full breakdown video. I just want to give some initial thoughts in this video. Anyways, I guess we will just start at the beginning of the episode. I think they did do a really good job at building the tension and suspense as we were waiting for the Army of the Dead to attack. There were thousands and thousands of soldiers and animals out there on the battlefield, but it was complete silence. It gave off a very creepy vibe. Then after several moments of silence, guess who decided to show up and join the fight? That's right, Melisandre did arrive in time for the battle for Winterfell. Not only did she show up, but it looked like she must have leveled up in Volantis. I did love how Melisandre was able to ignite all of the Dothraki weapons. Unfortunately, that did not really matter. They all died moments later. I also did like how you could see all of the fire from their weapons going out one by one. I actually thought as soon as they died and it got silent again, I was expecting all of them to get turned into whites, then immediately start charging back at Winterfell. Now I do want to say something else about Melisandre. Obviously, my Nisa theory did not come true. I thought Melisandre would sacrifice herself in a much different way. However, she was pretty badass during the episode. She was able to do some things that I was not expecting, which I did like. Now, just in case any of you were wondering, Melisandre did die at the end of the episode. Now that the Army of the Dead are defeated, she can rest. So, she took off her necklace and collapsed a few feet later. I will definitely miss Melisandre because I always thought she was a fascinating character. We also found out what Melisandre meant when she met Arya for the first time.
I see a darkness in you. And in that darkness, eyes staring back at me. Brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. Eyes you'll shut forever. We will meet again.
When she told Arya that she would close blue eyes, she was actually talking about the Army of the Dead, and she might have even been talking about the Night King. So let's go ahead and talk about Arya Stark killing the Night King. How many of you thought Bran Stark knew exactly what he was doing when he gave Arya that dagger last season? I did always say that Bran had a very funny look on his face when he gave her that dagger. Now maybe he knew that Arya would kill Littlefinger by using the dagger, but maybe he also knew that same dagger would go on to defeat the Night King. Since Bran Stark is still alive, maybe we will find out more later. Now, when it came to killing the Night King, obviously I was not expecting it to happen exactly like that. I have always felt like Jon and the Night King should have a sword fight before the series came to an end. When we saw Jon starting to run at the Night King, I thought, holy shit, here we go. We are finally going to see these two face off. But the Night King did some sucker shit. Instead of fighting Jon when he had the chance, he raised the whites instead. I gotta be honest, I was very disappointed in the Night King when he did that. Now I will say, I thought it was badass when Dany caught the Night King on fire. One thing that many of us did think was fire would not hurt the Night King. We have seen him walk right through it before, but holy shit. I was actually surprised that he was able to stand there and take direct dragon fire. Not only did it not faze him, but he even smiled back at Dany once she was done. When I saw him do that, for a moment I thought, they might not be able to kill this son of a bitch. I was actually surprised that Valyrian steel was enough to get the job done. You see, dragonfire is the main ingredient that makes Valyrian steel so special. Since dragonfire did not affect the Night King, it's crazy that little-ass blade was enough to kill him and his entire army. We may end up finding out more about that blade later. Samwell Tarly did see that blade in one of the books from the Citadel. Maybe he still has that book at Winterfell with him, if it did not end up getting caught on fire during the battle. Now I will say it was a little heartbreaking to see the Stark's castle get destroyed by the Night King's dragon. This is exactly why we will most likely see Jon and Dany back on Dragonstone later in this season. I would be very surprised if anyone can stay at Winterfell until some major renovations are made to the castle. Now since I'm talking about Winterfell, let's talk about the crypts of Winterfell. The crypts were not exactly the safest location to hide, although they were still much safer than being outside in the battle. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any of the statues came back to life. I did see some whites coming out of the ground, but those scenes were very dark. I wasn't exactly sure what the hell was happening. Those are one of the scenes that I will need to go back and look at again. Now, thanks to Arya Stark, they never did have to use any of the secret tunnels to escape. I did think there was a very good chance that we could see them, but I did also expect the Night King to get defeated at Winterfell. If you have been a subscriber on my channel ever since the beginning, then you would know this is where I said the Night King would die. Now, he might not have fought Jon Snow in a sword fight like I wanted, but he was still killed by another member of House Stark in Winterfell. This family has a very close connection to the Night King and the White Walkers, dating all the way back to the very first Long Night, when House Stark was founded and the White Walkers were created. Now, the television show obviously doesn't have enough time to go into every little detail, but in the books, I still fully believe we will find out the Starks and the White Walkers are related in some way. There are just way too many connections between the Starks and the White Walkers for them not to be. After all, the Starks' words are winter is coming. Their house is Winterfell. Their house sword is called Ice. Their crypts of Winterfell are full of dead kings of winter, which basically describes exactly what the Night King is or was. All of this, in my opinion, directly relates to the White Walkers. That's why the Stark's castle was created directly after the first Long Night ended. As soon as the White Walkers were defeated the first time, they needed to make sure they could never make it south again. So that's when Brandon the Builder made the wall. Then he made Winterfell. The wall was the first line of defense against the White Walkers, but if they ever made it through that wall, Winterfell would be the next line of defense. This is why a Stark must always remain in Winterfell, so that if the day should ever come when the White Walkers invaded again, it would need to be a Stark that defeats them in some way. Now, I know there are many fans that are upset about the Night King getting defeated so early, but I expected him to lose at Winterfell. The Stark's house was always meant to be the location of the White Walkers' defeat. This is where winter will fall. I have made several videos on all those connections before. I will make sure to leave a link in the description if any of you want to check them out. So, like I said earlier, I would have definitely liked to see Jon fight the Night King in a 1 versus 1 sword fight. As you all know, this has been Jon's mission ever since he found out about the Army of the Dead, which was in the very first season of the show. He basically spent his entire life focusing on defeating them. However, if Jon was not going to be the one to kill the Night King, I am still kinda happy that it was someone from House Stark. I would have been very disappointed if some random character like the Hound or Beric or whoever else killed the Night King. For all the reasons I listed above, it had to be someone from House Stark. This family's history runs too deep with the White Walkers for it to be anyone else. Now let me get my thoughts on some of the other characters that are dead. How about that Lyanna Mormont scene? Holy shit. Now talk about going out in style. Now it sucks whenever you have to see a child die, especially in battle like that, but her getting to take out a giant at the same time was pretty badass. Then we got to see her and Lord Commander Dolorous Edd come back as whites. That was crazy. I thought we would actually get a scene of them trying to attack some of the main characters, but I don't recall ever seeing them attack anyone after they came back, unless I'm mistaken. Then, of course, you have her cousin, Jorah Mormont. He showed up in the clutch. For a few moments, I thought Daenerys was definitely about to die. Not only did she not have any weapons at the time, but she had whites all around her. That was a scary scene. Now, it did seem very convenient that Jorah just so happened to be right there when Dany was about to get attacked. But this is a massive battle. Those types of things are expected. Now, I do want to take some time to say something about Theon Greyjoy. I think most of us thought he would die in battle. Not only did he not have very many men, but he also volunteered for one of the dangerous jobs available. Now, I know that some of you hate Theon Greyjoy, but I'm not one of them. There was a time when I did not like the character, but he did grow on me over the years. I was happy that he was able to get some closure from the Starks. Hell, even for a moment it did seem like Bran showed some emotion for Theon. I did like what he said to him. I think since Bran knew he was about to die, he could not let Theon die without thanking him. He knew he was ready to sacrifice himself for the greater good of the realm. Say what you want about Theon, but he went out like a soldier. He knew that he had no chance of killing the Night King, but he gave it a try anyway. I have to respect that, because that took heart. I actually wasn't sure what happened to Rhaegal until I saw the trailer for the next episode. I was not able to see where he went during the fight, but he is in the trailer for the next episode, so I know that he did make it out of the battle. Daenerys and Jon will certainly need both of the dragons because they lost a shitload of men. Now it should be interesting to see how they take on Cersei and Euron next. Like I said, I just wanted to give some of my initial thoughts on tonight's episode because I know all of you wanted me to release a video as soon as I could. I will make a full breakdown video next. As of right now, I only saw the episode one time, so I will need to watch it again to see what all I might have missed. Obviously, there are so many more things that I need to discuss. Hopefully you all come back for that next video. Anyways, I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to thank everyone that supports the channel. I really appreciate that. Have a good day. I'll see you again very soon. Bye.